Actor Charles Bronson was facing a dilemma. He needed to make a change, a big one that his agent said was necessary for his career. So one day in 1954, he found himself driving down Hollywood Boulevard with his wife Harriet and a couple of friends, brainstorming on what to do, when one of them spotted the answer, provided by a former resident of Los Angeles who had once fought in the Civil War. So how did a Civil War veteran help save the career of a Hollywood icon? There's more to the story. Charles Bronson was born Charles Dennis Buczynski on November 11, 1923 in Erinfield, Pennsylvania. He was the 11th of 15 children born to Walter and Mary, both Lithuanian immigrants. As a child, Charles spoke both Lithuanian and Russian, but did not become fluent in English until he was a teenager. His family worked in the coal mines, and after losing his father when he was 11, Charles would work in them as a teenager, either before or after school, to help put food on the table. Though the work toughened him up, it also gave him a case of claustrophobia that he would struggle with for the rest of his life. With all of his challenges, he was the first person in his family to graduate from high school. In 1943, he enlisted in the Army Air Force. He had grown up so poor that he said the Army was the first time he experienced eating 3 meals a day on a regular basis. He began his military duties at Kingman Army Airfield in Arizona, driving a delivery truck for the mess hall and attending gunnery school, but soon found himself transferred to the South Pacific, serving as a gunner on a B-29 Super Fortress. He flew 25 missions in the Pacific Theater and received a Purple Heart when he was hit in the arm by machine gun fire during a bombing run. Having always had an interest in drawing, he used his GI Bill to study at the Husson School of Art in hopes of becoming a commercial artist. His interest in acting came when he started painting background scenery for a local theater company, and one of their members said he should give acting a try. Charles thought acting looked like something he could do and was sold after hearing what kind of money stage actors made. He soon dropped out of school and joined the company, painting their backgrounds and occasionally getting parts in plays. Eventually, he followed his dream to New York City, where he became roommates with another aspiring actor, Jack Klugman. In 1949, he enrolled at the Pasadena Playhouse in California, where he studied acting and speech. His film debut came in 1951 with an uncredited role in a Henry Hathaway film called You're in the Navy Now. Coincidentally, it was also the feature film debut of another World War II veteran and future co-star Lee Marvin. Bronson was able to rack up a number of credits under his given name of Buczynski until the Red Scare of the 1950s started to heat up, and it was then that his manager suggested that his name sounded too Russian and it needed to change. And that's how he found himself driving down Hollywood Boulevard with his wife and a couple of friends as they brainstormed by looking at street signs and throwing out various ideas for names. When they came to Bronson Avenue, his wife and friends thought it was perfect, and Charles agreed, and Charles Buczynski became Charles Bronson. Little did any of them know the namesake of the street was a man named Marinus Alonzo Bronson, who had died almost 50 years before. He was a Michigan resident who was wounded in the Civil War while fighting for the Union Army. After working in the clothing business, he migrated to California, where he tried his hand at real estate, and Bronson Avenue was part of an area that he and his business partner had developed. Charles Bronson was able to make a name for himself throughout the 50s. Not only could he act, but he was also very good at remembering his lines. Filmmakers also saw that he had a rugged quality about him that made him perfect for tough guy roles. He landed a number of film and television parts during this time period, and even starred in his own television series called Man with a Camera. Throughout the 60s, his reputation grew with numerous television appearances in movies like Magnificent Seven, The Dirty Dozen, and The Great Escape. And he further cemented his star quality by taking roles in European films like Rider on the Rain and Farewell Friend. By the 1970s, Bronson was one of the biggest stars in the world, acting in films like The Mechanic, Death Wish, and Mr. Majestic, and earning $1 million a picture. Though the 80s saw Bronson's star dim slightly with the arrival of new action movie stars, he worked steadily and remained a household name for the rest of his career. Would he have been so successful had he not been willing to change his name? The world will never know. But he was not the first nor the last actor to change their name to help further their career. On August 30th, 2003, after acting in 95 films and over 150 television episodes, Charles Bronson passed away at the age of 81, suffering from pneumonia and complications from Alzheimer's disease. He was laid to rest near his home in Vermont and interred with the ashes of his second and late wife and frequent co-star, Jill Ireland. Fans of one of cinema's favorite tough guys might be surprised to find on his tombstone are the words of a poem entitled Immortality by Claire Harner that reads, "Do not stand by my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am the thousand winds that blow. I am the diamond glints in snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. As you awake with morning's hush, I am the swift upflinging rush of quiet birds in circling flight. I am the day transcending night. Do not stand by my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die." Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you can see what story we'll explore next.